particularly the first two speakers. I agree with almost everything Farid said, and almost everything is written in this document. You'd be surprised at the things I agree on. We can talk about later all the wonderful things that, you're absolutely right about that. Labor Start has been working in support of workers in Iran since the day we were founded. Your organization, the IASWI, sponsored campaigns on Labor Start. You use Labor Start correctly to fight for the rights of workers in Iran. Our record goes way back. We've helped get Iranian workers out of jail. I've met people like Mansour al-Sandu, the leader of the Tehran bus workers, you mentioned. I've met him. He's personally thanked me for the efforts Labor Start's made. We have a record we're very, very proud of. We've invited your organization to all our conferences. You've come to several conferences and made presentations. We welcome cooperative. We believe in building unity on issues like this with everyone we can work with. It's very strong. For me personally, I will work with people where I agree with them. This is an important issue. You don't build unity by doing what you said about Labor Start, because this is what you said. We were asked by the Education International, which is the international organization of teachers' unions, Canadian Federation of Teachers, for example, is a member. They are responsible for support for teachers when teachers' rights are violated anywhere in the world. They have come to us repeatedly with campaigns in support of the people you mentioned. Has written a campaign, not my words, their words. They've hosted on Labor Start's platform. We've given them that for free. They've organized and mobilized people to support Ismail Abdi. Teachers' unions around the world have used that platform to build support for the teacher. You've acknowledged that. But what you've said is that, I'm trying to understand here, you're saying that it's absolutely right for people not to support those campaigns on Labor Start because you disagree, as an organization, with views that one of the people at Labor Start, meaning me, have expressed the disagreement that we have over Palestine. The disagreement we have over Palestine is not that you support the Palestinian people. I don't. We will discuss this. We have a whole session on Palestine. I'm happy there to have a whole discussion with you about it. Everyone should know I have a very clear recognition. I'm in full support of the Palestinian people, an independent Palestinian state. I oppose the illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank. I support, all that stuff. To raise that and say, because I don't like something Eric wrote once, or twice, or 10 times in articles, because of that, we're not going to support the Education International. We're not going to support the Canadian Federation of Teachers. We're not going to support this international campaign for Ismail Abdi. We're going to do our own campaign on the side. I think that's sectarian and divisive and foolish, and it's disappointing me because we want the same thing. We're on the same side. I'm willing to fight day and night to get Ismail Abdi out of prison, as I've done for trade unionists all over the world. And I'm running up, you should be my best allies on this, and you're throwing back at me, no, we will not work with you. And that's sectarian, and it's divisive, and it flies in the face of the unity we're trying to build here at this conference. We're trying to work together here, even if we disagree on things. I'm looking around and I don't even know most people here. I don't know what we agree and disagree on. I don't know. But I know we agree we want Ismail Abdi out of prison. We agree Iranian workers have rights that should be defended. I'm working with the teachers' unions around the world at their request, using their language to get him released. So don't come to a Labor Start conference and tell the audience here that you've encouraged unions in Iran to not work with Labor Start, which means you also won't work with this. That is outrageous and divisive and wrong. And Farid, I know you personally. I've known you for years. I know how committed you are to this cause. I know you're smart. This is a stupid, divisive, ignorant thing, and counterproductive. We need to build unity, not to divide ourselves. I'm disappointed in what you said.
Thank you. So, are we going to respond later or not?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's very important. I'm glad that you said. I'm glad that actually we agree on some of these. First of all, it's very important, as you said that these are really, again, not really greatly translated from Farsi to English, but these are some of the principles that we're working on. Based on that principle, we mentioned that we're going to continue to work. We're going to stick to the work. I mean, Labor Start can say that they don't want to work with us, or Labor North can say the same thing, or Labor Net. We're going to reach out to all the different organizations. But at the same time, we actually separate or keep separate position, and then if we disagree on certain critical issues, especially those that are important in Iran and in the Middle East, then we have to very clearly state our position. I'm very glad that actually this has been videotaped, because you could later on go back and listen to what I said. I said that, and I'm glad that you're here, We've done Canadian Federation of Teachers have done amazing work, and we've worked with them for years, and they've done amazing work, and we are actually promoting them day and night in Iran. We translate their work. Same thing with CUPE and others as well. Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to go. Sorry, I'm moving because the moment I come here, this thing is kind of torturous. I think Education International, they've been doing amazing work in support of Iranian teachers the past few years, even when, like in the past number of years, for I think, since the teachers' strike, the new wave of teachers' strike the past few years, including the Farzad Kamangar was in jail and then he was executed by the Iranian regime. Canadian Teachers Federation did amazing work. They came in outside the Iranian embassy in Ottawa and they protested with us. And also Education International did amazing work, and we supported each and every one of their campaigns. What I said very clearly, maybe because I've talked really fast, but was that the campaign that Labour Star did on Ismail Abdi recently, and maybe it still is on, I'm not sure it's a closed campaign, and about 5,000 or 6,000 people at least signed on that. I said that none of the teachers' organizations in Iran, like the Iranian Teachers Trade Association, the organization that Ismail Abdi is a member of, none of them agreed to promote it inside Iran. That's what I said. We always are very transparent. I mean, if we say something, we always been very transparent with Labour Star as well. You know how much argument we had throughout the years about Solidarity Center, about he started the conference in Turkey. We argued a lot as well. So we always very transparent. So Iranian teachers, and we have all the connections and contacts that we have, our communities we have, and all the network, that I mentioned, all the Telegram networks and different networks are happening. They didn't even once they redistributed Labour Star campaign, and we had nothing to do with that. And I said that to you previously that there's a campaign that you needed to respond publicly in terms of clarifying some of your position. That's exactly what I said. I didn't say that we never issued a statement saying that we are boycotting. If we wanted to boycott, I mean, we would have boycotted today as well. We said that we are doing a critical engagement. We are coming, but we're keeping our just knows Eric Lee, even the great work that others do, like such as Rick Blackadder. But everybody inside Iran and internationally know Eric Lee, and your strong position on BDS is so strong that everybody identify Labour, and that's a problem. Nobody can say that if Farid, what I'm saying tonight, nobody's can say that that's the whole position of International Alliance. We have a couple of members, they may have different take on it. And I'm sure our branches in different parts of the world, they may have a different understanding, a different argument. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to look into this question, and some of the work in the Middle East is very, very delicate. You have some of the most repressive regime. They implicate people. They find files. They attach things to people for for this kind of relationship. If it's not clear that what type of work that we do, we have to be very careful how we choose this kind of work. Otherwise, organizations in Iran, they're not going to work with us. Because we have to be authentic, we have to be actually corresponding to the messages that we get from back home. So that's what I said. I said that I want to be very clear that none of the organizations inside Iran redistributed and they made the decision on their own.
Thank you, thank you, Ms. Lee. To be fair to the two gentlemen who are waiting to answer the answers being answered, I will add on another gentleman in the back, and then we will deal with the questions. And let's take like a minute per question.
Thank you very much. Eric said Farid's position is sectarian, and if there is one rare sectarian position in the world, in the history of the working class, and that is the one is a good sectarian. And we have to support that. Why? Because Labour Star, through the years, made a very credible work, supporting workers all around the world, but all those credibility goes to the political pocket of one person called Eric Lee. And that person's position in the Israeli state is reactionary anti-worker position. He is openly supporting Israeli state. In recent paper, he had called himself to be product Zionist. Zionist movement, maybe a century ago at the beginning, was for justice for the people, Jewish people. But after war of 68, up to now is a reactionary, oppressive, and fascist movement. You are openly supporting that in one hand and calling yourself founder of the Labor Star, and the other hand saying, I am a member of the Labor Star. Don't say, oh, don't work with Labor Star. No. Labor Star has to correct itself. It has a 700, 800 volunteers across the board. They should have a coordinating council and remove that opportunistic name which is working in this mechanism, promoting state Israel interests all across the world. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. If you would repeat your question, I'm sure at this rate we have probably
expose the current situation of the working class in Iran in the context of the East-Pakistan nuclear deal with the U.S.
All right, thank you for the wonderful question. Yes, so part of the presentation was precisely to talk about the nuclear deal, because previously it was the case that during the sanctions, the Iranian government used the existing of the sanction as a justification for oppressing any dissent against the state. So if there's going to be a worker strike, if there's going to be a worker protest, the Iranian government would immediately oppress it, would immediately shut it down under the pretense that we're under sanction, we're under economic stagnation, we cannot afford paying workers more. We cannot afford opening our societies because we're under a war, basically. It would be an economic war. So obviously that was the justification, and that was why they were oppressing people. After the nuclear war, that justification has been removed. They no longer have that pretense to claim that they're under severe economic sanctions and they cannot provide higher wages, they cannot provide better
So the sanctions have been lifted.
The sanctions have been lifted, yet the justifications are still there. Right? The oppression is still there. Now, President Rouhani came into power under the promise of lifting the sanctions in order to bring prosperity. The sanctions have been lifted, prosperity hasn't come in, right? And it's the position of many labor activists in Iran that without the sanctions or with the sanctions, the labor conditions, the working conditions, the wages, the benefits, it hasn't really changed. It's gotten worse. It is the same if they're the sanctions have actually hurt the sort of upper class a little bit, perhaps, because it has not hurt the upper class.
It has not.
Yeah, it has not, because it has given them the opportunity to actually make more money by, using the opportunity to, for example, jacking up the prices, saying that.
So it's made it worse for the poorer class.
It has, yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you want?
Is the question from the
Yes,
gentleman.
thank you for
Very
regrouping
nice.
us to reply to that. A question regarding.
I have to shift my gear toward that, from that debate. Pierre, could you, you're talking about international solidarity.
Yeah, basically, in terms of doing international solidarity, usually from our experiences, one is we have contact with workers in that country. Often we actually able to visit or reverse. So that's one important component. And the second component is that there is a company or a sector that's internationally based, and so you can actually have different points to intersect. So in the for Iran, it's like, how do we get into contact with groups of workers in there? And then also, what are the sectors or the companies that are globally integrated that might have, you could pressure or could take action against?
I'll make sure that Mohammad is the
No, you go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Also, it's important to remind ourselves that because of sanctions and also civil economic relations with some of the corporations, and especially U.S. sanctions, so many of the Western corporations, they stop their investment in Iran. And that one of the key industries is auto industry. And Iranian auto industry, including not just cars and buses and all that, and trucks, is I think it's the largest in the Middle East in terms of the size and the output. And they're now, after the end of the nuclear deal. It's very famous that people saying that all the hotels in Tehran are packed with different corporations, like especially French and Italian and German companies, auto producers, from Peugeot to Renault to some South Korean companies like Hyundai and Kia and all that. All of these organizations that they're rebuilding. I think that the relationship, especially with the French, Italian, and German, and Korean, and Chinese and Indian companies is really fast growing. And definitely the idea of global picket line, as you mentioned in your workshop, it's very relevant. For the past number of years, and like for instance, let me give you an example that we're working closely with the French trade unions. Our colleagues in France, they're part of the French Trade Union Federation's collective in support of Middle East and Maghreb, like North Africa, and they've been working a lot on the issue of like Iran throughout the years. And one of the issues is now for them to how to target companies that are like French companies and corporations when they invest in Iran in terms of the workers' right to unionize, because one of the things that we're saying that the government sponsors groups such as Workers' House, they're not even yellow unions. You can't even call them yellow unions. They're very much government institutions. They're part of the repressive tools of the Iranian regime. So it's very important that they pressure any of these companies. So that's why the relationship with the unions in each country is very important in order to be pressuring companies now that they're looking for investment and also new partnership deals. Want to just add that the prosperity that Behzad and Rouhani promised, it never was prosperity for workers. It has to be because the wages are like 4 times below the poverty line, and it keeps getting worse. And we have about 7 to 9 million people who are unemployed, and the participation rate of women is only 10% and 12%. And teachers in Iran are actually living in poverty. That's why one of the largest movements in Iran are teachers' movement. Maybe they're not part of the same company, but I think teachers are going to play a very strong role in future Iranian labor movement, because they have more than 1 million teachers. And also millions and millions of students and families who have this relationship. And right now they're becoming one of the most organized segments of the Iranian working class. So I think that building that international solidarity work, working in organization, again, like a Teachers Federation, but also with other similar national federations, but also with Education International, and also other bodies that work around these issues. I think that sectors is one thing, but also, like for instance, bus workers union. Maybe they don't have the same companies working in Tehran, but bus workers and transport workers in different parts of the world can actually provide symbolic different kind of support. We have to prevail in Iran because we don't have formal unions, and you don't have an office. There's no place that you could go say that, okay, that's a bus workers union office. There's nothing like that. Everything is underground. There's different types of organizing. So we have to look for creative ways to support them, but also build different kinds of international solidarity. Yeah.
I think we have come to the end. Any more questions?
Sorry, by the way, if we got into the debate, but I'm sorry. Can I just say something? I just want to thank everyone. I'm sorry that we got into that debate. We just want to. There's a flyer that's going around. We are also we are a part of organizing and supporting the workshop in support of labor in Palestine tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you could participate, that would be really great. And thank you so much. And sorry if this got needed at some point.
Thank you very much. I think that debate was good.
That was good?
Oh yeah, it was very good debate. I loved it.
Okay, I'm glad. So it wasn't boring, huh?